All right, we are live here. We got a special guest in the building. We got Coach Mercedes, and you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, so I want to officially invite you to the Athletic Exchange, something I started new to keep up with my people in Fort Walton, whether it be athletes or things, or people that got things going for them. And yeah, introduce yourself, where you're coaching at, and how many years it has it been.
My name is Coach Mercedes Claybrone. I coach at Fort Walton Beach High School, and this is year 4 as the head basketball coach. But I was coaching for a year as an assistant coach under Holly McDaniel.
Okay, vet in the game now. 4 years? That's crazy.
4 years.
Okay, we're gonna get into that coaching thing, but let's start with you. And were you born and raised in Fort Walton?
I was born and raised in Fort Walton.
Okay, and because this is the athletic exchange, we want to talk about sports. So when did sports start happening for you? Has it always just been basketball, or have you played in something else?
When I was younger, my mom pretty much put us in everything. I think it started off with cheerleading.
Oh,
Yeah. I used to do cheerleading for the city with Mayana, and
uh-huh.
then I kind of moved into. I think I did a little bit of t-ball, but I started playing basketball at 6. So
Okay.
my brothers and my sisters
Uh-oh, we got a little froze. Oh, 1 second. Oh, okay. So I heard your brothers and your sisters played basketball as well.
Yeah, my brothers and my sisters played basketball as well. They all played through. I mean, well, my Cedric played all the way through high school. He played a year of college at Jeff Davis, and then my sister played through high school, and she played 2 years at Coastal Alabama in Bay Minette.
Okay. So you're the baby.
I am, yeah.
So how was that growing up? Like, since you're the baby, did they bully you into doing it? Or like, did you think that you grew because you were playing with them? Like, how was that growing up in the household with some fellow athletes?
I think I definitely grew being under them. Like growing up, me and Cedric was really close, and so that was like his only sport. Like I remember he kind of like he pushed at my mom that like he didn't want to play football. Then he eventually broke his leg playing football, like city league football, and I think that's pretty much when she was like, okay, you can make the decision on your own. So from there, he gave up football, and it was just like all basketball. And through there, like he would pretty much teach me different parts of the game. So I mean, I was able to kind of grow and then just kind of look and mirror him, and like that's really when I picked up the game of basketball and started wanting to take it serious.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so we move into middle school and you went to
Bruner, and at the time, Bruner was loaded with talent. They had Marshea, they had the Keandra, they had Sienna, they had, I mean, everybody. It was loaded at Bruner. So me and Malaya was the only sixth graders that made the team.
Okay. Okay. And you played under
Um,
Coach Jones.
I did, yep. I
The
got a little
GOAT.
bit of play time as a fresh. I got a little bit of play time as a sixth grader.
Yeah.
Um, and then we ended up like we won the conference twice at Bruner. And then I was like, okay, I think maybe I'm okay at basketball.
Yeah, yeah. And Coach Jones, she was a winning coach, and I always say like there's certain coaches that truly have a program, and she really had a program throughout the years.
She did,
She
and
was the one that gave me my first chance.
she was real weird though. Like she didn't like she meant what she meant. Like she wasn't really like she wasn't that really player coach, but like she could get the best out of you
That's the
for
truth.
sure.
That's the truth. And then, um, so you did 3 years there,
Hmm.
and then we go to high school. You went to Fort Walton,
Yep,
and
I played
you
under
played
Coach
under.
Matt.
Okay, how was
I
that?
played
How were
J.
those?
I, well, first I played JV. I played JV for a year under Coach Fagan. Well, she was Coach Huey at the time. Then
Okay,
I moved on to varsity and I played 3 years under Coach Matt.
okay.
It was playing for Coach Mack. It was a different world. Like you've been through that program, so the expectations were super high. Like I mean, I was coming from middle school where it was pretty strict, but it wasn't like, you know, somebody constantly on me all the
Yeah.
time. Like I felt
Yeah.
like it was no breathing room with Coach Mack, you know,
Right.
and like especially like going into my senior and my junior year, because at the time we didn't have many seniors. I think my junior year we had one senior, and then you know obviously your senior year it's always going to be a big responsibility on the seniors, but um, my junior year, like she expected a lot out of me. So it wasn't like the average junior year where, you know, the seniors is like responsible. Like I had to walk the walk and talk the talk. Like it was no days. I remember she used to make me work every single day, days that I did not feel like being in the gym. Like
Yeah.
it was an everyday grind. So
She was a little fiery piece, man. Oh my goodness. But she did bring some good things out of me. And I remember talking to you a while ago, coming up playing with your girls. Sometimes you used to say that she always used to bring my name up in the, like
always
she always used to do that.
like the Rashondas wouldn't play this. You wouldn't make it with the Rashondas. It was always, and then you start thinking about yourself like, dang, maybe I should be them.
Yeah. But then I was going to ask you, so do you do the same thing from players that have come through your program? Do you just do the same things, like bring their
I
names?
I do because now that now that I'm in this position, like I see the reason why she would do it, because like like she would see like characteristics that were similar, and
Mm-hmm.
then like with the new generation, like at my time I think maybe I thought like I was better than what I was, and so she kind of was like, these kids would, if you was in this generation, you'd have it harder than you got, like, and
Yeah.
so I definitely do that for my kids now, because they come up in the right time, but you still got to keep them humble to where it's like,
Yes.
and you see firsthand, like you guys come back and y'all will come and play pickup ball, and like it's a reality check for a lot of our kids, because they're
Mm-hmm.
like wow, they muscling me, they getting to the
Mm-hmm.
rack,
Yeah.
they locking me up, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like those moments right there is where it really clicked, to where they're kind of like, okay, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. So you didn't get to play for Coach Craig, but I know Coach McDaniel, she learned a lot from him. And that
Right.
hard-nosed coaching style, that old school coaching style is something I'm so happy that I got. You know what I'm saying? I'm so happy I got that. All right. So let's speak on a little bit about how you said that you didn't have a lot of seniors when you were a junior. Uh-oh. You there?
Hello.
Okay. Let me see. I can see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Let me see.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see
Oh,
me? Okay.
okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so you said you didn't have a lot of seniors when you were, in high school. So where do you think you learned that from, having that leadership role or that leadership ability? Because I feel like I was blessed to have so many seniors above me that taught me how to be a leader. So where did you think you learned that from?
I mean, pretty much, I think it was pretty much taught to me, because
Mm-hmm.
I like along the way, I made so many mistakes. Like, like I I grew so much from being a freshman to being a senior, like just as a person, just maturity wise, like, and a lot of the coaches that was a part of that program can attest to that. Like it was a lot of trial and error. Like I was,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I was doing things the right way, but it was the wrong way. Like, or, just at the time being the best player on the team or the strongest player on the team, like, just kind of bossing people rather than, you know, getting people on my side to where they want to play hard for me. They want to be my teammate. And so through that, like I really didn't learn it until I became a senior, that,
Okay.
like, because it really got, like, my senior season, it really got hard for me. That's when, I'm faced with the double teams, and I'm faced with the triple teams and the boxing ones. And so it was very, very hard for me. And that was the times where I really I needed my teammates. Like just having them, and just like I remember my senior year, I tore my ACL in the first playoff game of the season, and like just the crowd and just everybody around, like the mentality is, oh, for Walton's done. Like Mercedes is out, they done, and
Mm-hmm.
like they went on, and I mean Malaya and Diasha had the games of their life, and we win a
Mm-hmm.
district championship that year. Like, and that's something that for me, that's my year. So when I walk in the gym and I see 2014 on the board, like that's all I remember is that,
Yeah.
like they held it down like when everybody felt like it was
It
over.
was
And
over.
so it was,
Yeah.
and I think that part of that came from like just me learning how to be a leader and learning that like if I show them that they're important to me, like then they gonna play hard for me. And that's all it was about. And just
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they was doing things that wasn't right, obviously, standing up and saying something, but saying it in the right way to where I'm not trying to be their coach. I'm being a teammate more than anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's the biggest thing, even with our team, is that like I think that me going through that phase of really being a terrible leader for a year, because my junior year I was a terrible leader,
Yeah.
and just knowing how to grow from there and seeing some of the kids that I choose as a leader and watching them go through some rough patches because kids don't know how to lead, and sometimes you gotta teach kids how to lead. And I will say I did a lot of watching, like, because I came into high school when they still had that 2011 group, which was the Kianis, the Kieras, the Raquitas, the
Yeah.
all of them girls, and they
Mm-hmm.
they were like they meshed. That was a really good group of girls, and
Yeah.
just being under them and being able to see like how they got along outside of basketball, like just seeing that. But I struggled putting it into practice until
Mm-hmm.
like Coach
It
Mack
became
kind of would,
you.
yeah, when it became
Yeah.
me, and like she kind of would tell me like where I was failing and where I wasn't doing well as a leader, like.
Yeah.
So that's really how I learned.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that. So in high school, your junior, senior year. Oh, wait, did you play travel ball?
Yeah, I played FDD with Coach Shep.
Okay. Okay. And okay, so we got that going on. What did you notice when y'all went to tournaments that, the competition wise, or like what was different in the different areas when it came to players and things that you saw in other areas? Of like what made
Uh,
you like what did you need to work on that you saw?
like I just needed to work on my skills all around, because like
Okay.
once we like we would go to those those Wild World of Sports tournaments in Disney and stuff like that, and at the time FDD was collective. Like FDD was really what kept the city, because I played with Brittany Brown, I played with Brittany Washington. Me and Brittany Washington, that's where we really got our bond. Like Brittany Washington to this day is one of my closest friends. Like,
Okay.
and we never played on the same high school team, but that's kind of where the bond and the connection came in those. I played with all those different girls, um, and we would all like that would be the only time that we would come together, because during the year we would want to battle with each other, and
Mhm.
back
Mhm.
then times was different. You didn't really mix if you didn't go to the same
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
Uh, so then we would get together at these tournaments, and then it would be like we was one. But I mean, like just from that competition, I just remember like just being so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
like because in this area, like I mean, I played in my high school year. We played against Crestview. I had 40 points.
Mhm.
So the competition, like you think that you this and that, and then you go out here and these people get on your right hand, and then it's
What
like
exposed?
and yeah, and just
Yeah.
over time, like I learned I had to develop a jump shot, like I had to develop an outside shot, like that's where I really identified my weaknesses, and that's why I say like going into my senior year, like it was literally a grind. Coach Mack had me in the gym every single day,
Mhm.
combs right after I just got out of a workout, because like we really started to identify my different weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then going into like just separating from high school to college, like once I tore my ACL, the game of basketball changed for me all around. Like I wasn't as quick as I was, like I
Yeah.
wasn't as strong as I was. So I just had to kind of like re-identify myself as a basketball player all over again. Cause I went from I was 6 foot running point guard for my high school team to now being recruited by the number 2 JUCO in the nation, Northwest Florida,
Yeah.
and I'm coming off of a fresh injury, and I'm not as strong, I'm not as quick, I'm not as, explosive. And then I got there, and I'm looking at all this competition. I had a teammate that played the same position as me from Venezuela, and she was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and I struggled, I struggled like with PT. I was just ready to like, I was just like, maybe this ain't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of just like decided like if I'm gonna stick with this sport, which I needed to get an education, I got to figure out a way to make it work. So
Yeah.
I kind of like changed my style of play to more of an inside game than being that outside player that I was,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked for me. It worked for me going forward.
Yeah. Well, you done jumped the gun because I was going to say one of my questions was about your injury and you getting through it through that adversity, like mentally and all that kind of stuff. But what, as far as your recruit, were you around? Like, was Huddle around when you were playing?
I don't think we used Huddle because I don't remember like how I require my players to be on Huddle now. We weren't on Huddle, so I
Okay.
think our recruiting was just coaches connections
Okay.
and coaches showing up.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you got recruited by Northwest Florida. Super phenomenal program. That's super dope. Congratulations. Got
Thank you.
your AA there.
Yeah,
And then like I mean, they coaches really recruit heavily from that program. So you go to where after that?
I went to Florida Southern in Lakeland,
Okay.
so
How
I
was
played in the
that?
Sunshine State Conference. It was good. I mean, there we won two conference championships. I came in right away. I was a starter. I played 40 minutes. Like for me, leaving Northwest Florida, I actually spent 3 years at Northwest
Okay.
because I came in on a medical red shirt. But I played, I came in on a medical red shirt coming off my injury. And then the next year I ended up tearing my ACL through the season, but I had played enough games to where it wasn't, a medical red shirt. But
Wait,
that
you
was
injured yourself. You had two ACLs?
two ACLs, two torn ACLs.
Same
So that's what
knee?
I talk about when I say no, different knees.
Oh,
So that's what I talk about when I say I had to kind of completely rebrand myself as a basketball player. And like,
yeah.
and especially for my players now, like they look at it and they're like, how did you keep going? Like, I got long scars down both of my knees, and it's like, I would have been gave it up. That's
Yeah.
the first thing they say is like, that would have, after the first one, I would have gave it up. And
Yeah.
so I in that second year, and those was like some of the hardest years of my life because I didn't know who I was. When basketball is all especially like that's your only identity, like that part of life was like a real dark place. And so
Mhm.
then moving on to my third year there, I played my entire season there, and I played the entire season. I started under Coach Tamala McCorvey, and
Sam
it was a
was the coach there?
Coach Tam was my
Oh,
coach. Yeah,
wait, at Northwest?
Coach, yeah, my Coach Harrington, the one that recruited me, ended up passing away in a car
Right.
accident.
Rest in heaven. Yes, yes, yes. I
Rest in
remember
peace.
that. Mhm.
And so Coach Tam stepped in, and she was the active coach. And so I played my last season there, and then I ended up getting picked up by Florida Southern. And for me, it was more about like during that entire recruiting process. And like you say, coaches recruit out of Northwest all the time. But for me, my only goal was to go somewhere where I could just play basketball
Exactly.
because I was just like coming off of two ACL injuries. All I want to do is play. I
Yeah.
didn't care about what level. I don't care about any titles, any records. Like I just want to go and I want to play. Like wherever I can play is where I'm gonna go.
I heard
And
that.
Betsy Harris came along, and I mean she was phenomenal in the recruiting process. And they were losing seniors that played my position, and so she was like, if you could come in and you bring a dog, then you could play. And so right away I was like, Mom, I'm going to Lakeland. So
Yeah. And it's open. It was open for you to get. So that's I like that. This is the second interview that Tam's name got shouted out. So Tam,
who
you
was
are
the other one?
loved. Jade, because she played they
Yeah,
played together at Woodham
yeah.
and we used to play them. They used
Yep,
to
I
tear our
love
butts
Coach
up.
Tam. She still keep up with me to this day.
That's good. That's good. All right. So you get your degree from Florida Southern
Mhm.
and you get to play basketball again. Thank you, Lord. And so life after college, what did you want to do? Like what was your goal out of college to go do?
So my last semester at college, I had plans to go to dental school. So I was getting everything like because at Florida Southern is a private institution. So they pretty much once you graduate, they will they'll keep you on campus long enough to where they'll place you in a job. So majority of the people that graduate from Florida Southern, they go right into a career field, whether it's doing something on campus or whether they're placing you somewhere because the city is so interlocked within each other, like to where they'll place kids in jobs that's right along there and they're making good money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was my plan, and I was talking to my advisor, and because I got a bachelor in biology, and so I was gonna start
Okay.
just getting like experience hours and just stuff like that, and so it was random. I got a text from Coach Matt, and she was like, "Are you coming home? After school?" And I was like coming home, like, yeah, probably. Like she's like,
Yeah.
well, like what are your plans? Like, so I was telling her my plans, and I was telling her like, but that's so far off because I need to start making money. Like I'm an adult now. I'm gonna have bills. And so I was talking to my mom about it. I'm like, hey mom, Coach Mac just texted me, asked me what I was gonna do after school. And she was like, well, what'd you tell her? Like, whatever. And so then she came up with a question. She asked me, like, have you thought about coaching? And at the time I was also talking to Coach Lawrence. Like Coach Lawrence is like one of my mentors. Like so um so I ended up telling her like I hadn't thought about it, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I was telling her I got my bachelor's in biology, and she was like, well, we got a biology position coming open. Like if you want me to see if something is, if you can test, if you can whatever. So she was like, well, go ahead and take the test, and then let me talk and let me just try to see if some things whatever. She's like, but we want to you don't want to jump the gun if you're not prepared. Like you got to be certified for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So through the process, I went on register. Like I'm gonna take the certification, and like it wasn't like I was super nervous about it because I got a bachelor's of biology, so I've been going through
You've been
this for about two.
yeah.
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 So I ended up taking the certification and I passed it. And so I told her, hey, I passed the certification. She said, okay, well, just finish up the school year, focus on your classes, and then when you get back, we'll sit down and we'll just try to talk and see some things. And so then I came back to Fort Walton once the school year was over, took our finals. Um, and then I sat down, and pretty much there was great talk because they mostly wanted to see how much I had matured because
Mm.
like I said, I was a different kind of kid from being in my high school years to who I am now. Like I'm a total different person, because I've
Yeah.
been through some things in life that have changed me, like it made me grow as a person. I talk about
Mm-hmm.
the dark years, all of that stuff. So um and then just sitting down with me, I sat down with Coach McDaniel, the principal at the time, some assistant principals, and from some of them that knew me because this was the same administration from when I was in school. I mean, they kind of was looking at me like this is a total different kid. Like it's not
Was it
even the
Miss
same person
Kuvion?
anymore.
Was it Miss
It was
Kuvion?
it wasn't. It was John
Oh.
Sapolsky.
Oh, okay. Miss Polsky, shout out. Love my mama.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to your story. My bad.
So and Miss Kupion still keeps in touch with me. And they're just they've all been just there through the process. But it was just and so then it was more about just kind of picking my brain and just seeing just like the maturity level because like it's going into a job which I teach at the high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
When you're so young, I started at 22. So
Wow.
mentally you've got to be very very mature to walk into a classroom with a bunch of 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and the age gap isn't much,
Yeah.
and I'll say over the last couple of years it's gotten easier every single year. Like starting
Mm-hmm.
off it was very very rough because
Mm-hmm.
um even though I knew the material, I didn't really know how to apply it,
Yeah.
because classroom management was my biggest problem. I'm walking in, and public speaking is something that I struggle with. And you got 14 and 15-year-olds that's trying to find any way to just get out of doing work, and they just want to have a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Uh, and so over the years, like I think that the kids that I had 5 years ago would say I'm a lot stricter now than I was 5 years ago.
Mm.
And it took a lot of professional development just to get to the point to being, comfortable to walk in and say, like, this is the rules, and this is what's gonna happen. But I didn't, it's so weird because I didn't have that problem like making that transition with basketball. And I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's like a comfortable place, or like I can walk in that room and say these are the rules, these are the standards, and if this doesn't happen, these are the consequences. And that was
Yeah.
hard for me to do as a teacher.
Mm-hmm. And
So
so with her getting you there or you going back home, you went straight into teaching biology?
I did, yeah.
Okay, that was
So
alignment. Okay, work, Lord, because everything worked out. Yeah. And so you started off being an assistant coach at first.
I did, yeah.
Okay. And so you get there, you start coaching. Were you the JV coach as well, or you was just
I
assistant?
was the assistant for both.
Okay. And so you're just learning away at this point. Like you're just trying to like see how the vibe is, see how they handle things, how they prepare for practices, all that stuff. And
Right.
then how long is Coach Mac there before she leaves and asks you to step into that role?
A year.
1 year.
1 year. Yeah.
You already knew it was gonna happen, or it was like mid season, like I'm about to go, it's about to be yours, or like
It was never even like that. We was actually hoping that she would be able to have some years. Like I didn't have plans on being a head coach at all. Like that was
mm-hmm.
never, it was kind of just the path that was, that like God's plan really.
Yeah.
That's just like bottom line. But when I came in as an assistant coach, I came in just, working on the post players, because that's what I had. I had become a 4 player in college.
Yeah.
Post work, bringing back just like the college tough, mentality, the toughness, like kind of being that player coach to the players, like
Mm-hmm.
making the connections. That was my role. And then just so once Coach McDaniel became the athletic director, which he made history doing,
Yeah.
um, we thought that she was, we thought she'd have time to transition out of her role. And I think it's different in different places, because I know you had an interview with Coach Jade. I think Coach Jade is the athletic director and the basketball coach, so I think
Mm-hmm.
just different counties have different rules. But we was hoping that she would, be able to transition out, because at the time I didn't think I was ready, like,
Yeah.
and it took a lot of praying, and just and a lot of talks with my family, and just, am I ready for this? Like, what
Yeah.
if I'm not successful? What if, like, because if you're not successful, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's something that's a secret. Like it's out there in broad daylight, and then you can't, it's hard to come back from it. Like,
Yeah.
um, but we sat down, and like once we found out that she wouldn't, because we were hopeful. Like, I don't think I found out until the very end of summer. Once
Mm.
once she was actively named,
Wow.
and so there was like, we didn't know, the girls didn't know, like, and so it was, I guess, it just felt better, passing it to somebody that they was comfortable with. And at the time, Coach Fagan was the Bruner coach. So she had just like transitioned into her role as their head coach and taken over that program, which she's done a phenomenal job with.
Yeah, she has.
But um, so that's just kind of how the cards played.
Okay. So we got head coach. You 22 at this age, you said 22 at this time, or 23?
Yeah, 23.
And 23.
When I became the head coach, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so your first season,
Mhm.
how did it go? And not only that, like you're coming off of people that coaches that have history there, like great history there. You know, I forget the coach my mom always told me about that she played for. She was there for a long time. Then you got Coach Craig. Then you got Coach Mack, and then you got to fill these shoes that seem so big, but then you got to
Yeah.
make it your own. Like that's, I know it's hard, it's easier said than done, but now it's your first season. Who's on your team at this point? Sam. Who?
Sam, Piper, there was
Okay.
Madison, Josiah, Jamelin, not Jamelin, not Jamelin, it was Jelena, her sister. Jelena was
Okay.
on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had Paris. Paris was a big part. We had Tamia, we had Marissa, we had
Mm-hmm.
KK at the time. Um,
And
so
these
we
were
had a good group.
juniors? These were juniors at this time or sophomores?
Madison, Josiah, and Madison and Josiah were our only seniors.
Okay. I remember them. Okay.
So, and then we had a large group of juniors at the time, and that was the most important thing is that I left. When she left me with some talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew, I knew I was in a comfortable place, but it's only, if you don't know how to put that talent together, that's where that's where problems come in. And so in Northwest Florida Daily News didn't do a great job of making me just kind of smooth with the transition, because it was like articles, big roles to fill, Coach Craig, Coach McDaniel, and now we got this, now we got
Yeah.
this newbie. And so
Yeah.
like it was a lot of pressure, but you know I, at the end of the day, like like I tell my family and like I tell everybody, it's not about me, like people
Okay. I respect
say,
that.
oh yeah, like people may say, you've won this or you've won that, but at the end of the day, I haven't won anything. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the kids, we put them in the best situations to be successful, but they the ones to go out there and play the game. And so that, like, really coaching it, half the battle is just getting kids to play hard. You know that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you've coached a ton of kids. If kids play
Mm-hmm.
hard for you, they gonna be successful. So in that season, that first season, we we lost in the Elite Eight. So we had an Elite Eight run. We lost 3 times to Pine Forest during the year, and we happened to beat them in the regional
Mm-hmm.
on a buzzer beater. And so we
Oh yeah.
lost at the
I
Elite
remember
Eight
that.
to St. Augustine.
Yes. Oh, you lost on the buzzer beater?
No,
No,
we
you
won
beat
on the
Pine
buzzer
Forest.
beater.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember
On the
that.
buzzer
Okay.
beater.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on, traveled next day to St. Augustine and lost by 5.
Okay. Okay, so your first year ends like that. How did you handle it? Um, yeah, how did you handle it? Because you got girls looking to you. You got you got a couple seniors that you got to be there for, and yeah, you might have been there as a player, but now you're in the coaching role, so you got to be kind of strong for them. So how do you handle that?
Right. So I mean, right after when the buzzer sounded, and we fell short in that first season, there was so much emotion for me because I wanted it so bad for them, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was, I mean, in the after game speech, I was emotional. Like I was hurt for them because they wanted it so bad. Like they had fought through so much that season. They came in every day, they battled, like, they just did a great job of transitioning into the change, because they were so used to a system. And then I came in, and I made changes, I made twists and turns, like some kids that may have played weren't playing as much, some people weren't playing in the position they were used to, like, we were trying to do where we were putting kids where we needed kids, like
Mm-hmm.
to be successful. And like I told them, like, guys, if you put the team first, then the individual goals are going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
um, and so it was just so much that team had went through just within one season. Like, so I was hurt for them, but at the end of the day, like, that I needed that moment kind of to,
Yeah.
and it really was like one of those moments where it really was that it's not about you,
Yeah.
because, like, showing the emotion, I wanted it for the kids, but I didn't want it the kids to think that I wanted it for myself. If that makes any
Mm.
sense. If
Yes,
that
it
makes sense.
does. It does. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I had the Sams of the world, and we had a long ride home, and she kind of, and me and Sam we were really close because once when I was the player coach, all the kids, I was the one they would come,
Yeah.
when kids
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
complain,
Yeah.
I was the one that they would come
Mm-hmm.
to, and so all of them, and that's why, like, I'm glad you were asking about just, making that separation between player and coach, like, coming from the assistant to the head coach, it was extremely hard because
Mm-hmm.
that group had gotten so close to me, to where now I'm the bad cop. I no longer
Yeah.
was the good cop. And so, but I think we had built so much of a, like a bond to where they knew that when I was coaching them hard, it was always in the best interest.
Yeah.
So, but we had that long car ride home, and Sam was just like, she was one of those players that would say like, Coach, I gave my all. I was giving it my all for you, and we kind of had to redirect the conversation. I want you to give your all for you and your teammates.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you played the hardest that you could play. Like, and sometimes kids need to know that. Especially those ones that do give their all.
Yeah.
Like, they play. Sometimes they think that they're playing for their coaches. Like, I want you to play for your teammates more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. That's
So
big though. I like that though, because that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for is that effort and that heart. And at the end of the day, that's a win, whether it be on the final scoreboard or not. That's a win, and that comes on and off the court. That's a
right.
big lesson to learn. All right. So, what do you say like the standards of your program are? Like, what do you look for athletes to bring to make the Viking basketball team?
The first thing we want is good kids. Like, I don't like kids that, I want a kid to be the same person they are around me as when they're not around me. And I
Okay.
want, like, especially if you gonna wear the Viking gear.
Yeah.
Like I'll say out of the 5 years, I'm not even gonna say 4 years. I'm gonna say even the year that I was under Coach Mack, I don't think there was ever more than 5 emails about a lady Viking basketball player,
Mm.
because it only happened one time. Once it
Mm-hmm.
happens that one time, there's always a message that's sent, to
Yeah.
where, like, these are the standards of this program. You're not gonna misbehave in teachers' classrooms. You're gonna represent yourself in the right way outside the classroom when you're out in public. Like, you're not only representing us, you represent your family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like, we do a good job of kind of working hand in hand with parents, that these are the standards. This is what we expect out of these kids. Like, basketball wise, we want kids to come and play hard every day. Like, even in practice, you practice how you practice how you're gonna play. And if you
Cliche,
don't,
but
if
it's
you're not
true.
working, if you're not working hard in practice, like, I mean, we'll tell a kid, get off. If you don't want to be here, you can go home today, because
That's the kind of
if you
coaching I'm used to. That's the kind of coaching I'm used to. Get off that court.
because it's because if like, if you're not going hard, what am I getting out of you right now?
Right.
We're not getting nothing out of you. And this generation of kids, we're having to teach them that basketball is your outlet. Like us, we knew that when I come into basketball, like, this is where I'm not worried about family. I'm not worried about getting in trouble with my parents. I'm not worried about boyfriends, girlfriend. I'm not worried about any of that stuff when I come into
Right.
basketball, because this
Right.
is my outlet. And
Yes.
so some of these kids, we have to teach them that, because they
Yes.
come in and they carry these loads. Like, they come in and it's like, Coach, I'm having a bad day, or, Coach, I need a minute. And it's like, go out there and give everything you got. That's what's gonna take your mind off of it. Like,
Right.
not coming in here and you carrying a heavy load.
Mm-hmm.
And then we emphasize defense in our program. Like, defense wins championships. Like, the old school way, defense is always gonna be the way, because
Always.
and I tell them, like, your defense is gonna lead to your offense. Like, you don't have to work as hard. If you can lock up, you're gonna score 20 easily. You don't have to work hard for those 20. Like,
Say that.
I like the fancy moves, but 2 points is 2 points. So get it however you can get it.
Okay. Lord, say it to the people in the back, please. Oh my goodness. That's good. I like that because, like you said, wearing that name, wherever school you go to, it's a privilege. You're not owed nothing. It's a privilege. And I think kids really need to respected a little bit more wherever they go to high school or middle school or play anywhere. It's just like respect what you got on and respect that family name that you have.
Right.
Because like you said, you represent your family as well. Okay, over these years as a coach, people are gonna be barking in the crowds and saying this and that. Do you even hear what they say, or do you like? Have you learned to tune it out?
Yeah, I don't hear nothing during the
Okay,
game.
okay,
I don't
good.
hear nothing.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I'm too loud. Like I really don't hear nothing. The only I tell my mom she can't sit behind me because if they not playing well, then those conversations. But I don't want
Yeah.
my mama being behind me, so she got to sit on the other side of the
Yeah,
bleachers.
she do. She be across the way at the top. Her and grandma.
Exactly.
Okay, because everybody is a great coach in the stands, like
Oh yeah.
they think they know everything until I'm like, two things that people need to do. I don't know if I said this before. I might say this every interview, but they need to referee and you need to coach. So
Oh,
you see
and
how it is, like, because once you're in the limelight, what you gonna do, young
yeah.
man or young sir? It's
Listen,
different.
I I was at the rec for I was at the rec and I was like doing the clock or something for the city league game, and they were short a referee and they was like, coach, you got a whistle or whatever, right? So I was like, yeah, I usually have a whistle in the car. Oh, can you ref? I was like, okay, yeah. I ref this game and I will like I respect referees so much. Like these people are yelling at me about
Oh
things
shoot.
on
Uh
the
oh.
court.
Okay.
These
That is
people were
too
full
funny.
out like
Was it
they was
young kids?
talking adults.
Adults, they the worst ones. They the worst ones.
I told Bobby, I said, yeah, I can't do it again. Like
Yeah,
I'm not cut out for this.
right. I'm like, are y'all going to the NBA? Like, why y'all tripping? For
Yeah,
real, annoying.
it make you appreciate what officials do.
It do. Not saying I'm not gonna still yell at them, but
Yeah.
I might hold it back a little bit more because I'm like, I know, you ain't gonna get everything right. Okay, so do you still get nervous? Do you get nervous before games, or like how are your
before
emotions and
every
stuff?
game, before every game, my hands start sweating. I start wiping on my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep telling myself it's gonna get easier, but it don't.
It don't, because you're passionate. I respect it because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a routine or you just kind of
Um.
chill?
So I hate to like be superstitious because I'm religious. I don't think that the two can mix, but
Uh-huh.
but
That's why I
like
said routine. It's
if we
routine.
yeah, but like if we lose and we wear like a certain pair of shoes or something, I'm like, we never wearing these again. We lost. We play horrible in these shoes. Like these shoes will not come back out the closet. It's the shoes. It's the only thing we changed. Like, so then we will go the whole season like planning our outfits, and we won't put the shoes back on until like we're
Wow.
like the
Until
whole
next
season.
season.
Like yeah, well we'll say like we'll say okay, this is a tournament game, so let's try them out. Let's see how this goes. And then if we win, then we're like okay, they're back in the rotation. But if not,
Okay.
they're definitely out. They're out. They're out.
Oh, oh, y'all got money. Y'all got money. Okay. Okay. So you have a good support system between your family, friends, high school friends that you've had, your old players, your players. How does that make you feel to have started something and like you starting your own program? Because I feel like you have started a program as well. How does that make you feel with that support?
Like it's everything to me. Like I don't even think a thank you is like enough for what they do for me, especially like my mom, my grandma, my Taylor. I mean, there's days where just being a coach, like I don't think that some people understand how much is required of you. Like, between being here or being there, and even in the off season, like I go just as much as I do in season. Like right now, we support our kids in their other sports because that's the only way that kids know that it's bigger than basketball. If you don't
Yes.
support them outside of basketball, then, coach, you only getting what you need out of me. So
Mm.
I try, I show up to flag football games. I try to show up to softball games. I show up to swim meets.
Yeah.
Just so that kids know, like, no matter what you're doing, I'm gonna support you in it. And just being able to have that support system from my mom to where, I don't have to call around and try to see, oh my gosh, can somebody do this for my daughter? It's already done.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, and they work all day, and my grandma, they just it's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
I have some people that still to this day don't know how I do it, but they're literally the way that I do it, because there's not a time where I can ask them for something and it's not taken care of.
I like that. And I like that you show your kids that you care. That's all they need to know, is that you care and that you love
Right.
them, and showing up for the different things that they do. Like, you hit it. It is bigger than basketball. Like, you want them to be good young individuals in this world.
Right.
And that little piece of you just showing up, that means a lot.
It
Girl, you
does
got me all
everything.
emotional. Okay. So you're a BFB member.
I
So
am.
how big is your faith in God and getting you through? Like, how big do you fall on that?
I'm a very religious person. I mean, like, God is everything. My mom is like a praying warrior. Like,
Who she
everything.
is.
She is a real worshiper. Like, and she makes sure she instilled it in us. Even when there's times where we may go astray, or she still is constantly on us. Like, I could miss a Sunday of church and she's like, no, Cole, preach the word. You missed a good one, and she's like, every morning it's routine. We get a Bible verse. She sends a Bible
Yeah.
verse to us, and it's like, in a family group chat, and like she stay on my brothers and my sisters about staying in the church and keeping up on our faith, and studying the word, and knowing that God is true to His word, and what He says and in His promises, like He means it, like and just and I think that's a part of, like, just going hand in hand with, like, all of the things that I said I learned, like coming out of that dark place,
Mm-hmm.
and all this, all of those things. Is just like knowing that God does have a purpose and a plan for me, like,
All
and
right.
and a lot of people, a lot of people like timelines, and they like to know, what are you going to be doing in 5 years? Where is life going to take you? And it's like, right now, I think God gonna be the one to tell me when to throw the towel in,
Okay. You better
and
let them know. Let them folks know. God.
and because I mean, there's all these, when are you gonna go to the next level? When are you gonna, do you have plans on going to the next level? Building up your resume, and for me, it's just, when the time is right. Like, I can't do it in my time, because
Mm-hmm.
anytime I've tried to do that, it just don't work out for me. Like, and everything that has worked out for me has been in God's timing, because it's always been perfect. That's how
Yeah.
it's not, like, a lot of people confuse things. It's like, you don't, you have these people that have these, they say that people are joining a cult and stuff like, it's like, but God is more like a feeling, it's
Mm-hmm.
you gotta feel what's being done, like, in your life, like, I and a lot of people don't know, like, this part of my life, but like, when I was young, like, in middle school, I got really, really sick, like, to the point to where I almost died, like,
Mm.
and I've never shared that part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but like, and for a long time, like, it just makes you think, like, well, why me?
Yeah.
Out of all my mom kids, why me? Why, and it's just like, but it's to be able to share, like, the things that you're
Yeah.
going through, and being able to say, like, if I made it through, like, you can make it through. And then I see
Mm-hmm.
all these kids, because, like, I'm a type 1 diabetic, right? And so,
Didn't know
um,
that. Okay.
yeah, and so I've, and then I see, like, the kids, like, there's one of the guards, the point guards at Pace, who, she wears her pump on her arm, and she's proud about it, and she really made me kind of come into my comfort zone, to where, like, if you see me on the sideline, I wear my sensors, like, and Because if I could see a 16-year-old kid live her truth, like, you
Wow.
know, why would I
Wow.
hide mine? Like,
Yeah.
and so just just coming through, like, just everything that I've been through in life, like, it's the feeling, like, just to know that the God is real. He got to be real.
Girl, you about to
So
have me throw a shoe or something at the thing screen because I mean, that's a walking testimony right there. That I love talking about God and not being ashamed of it, and for you to be able to speak on things that you haven't told anybody first off, but then knowing that God is the one that got you through it, and that you can lean on Him through your dark times and stuff like that. That's beautiful. That's
yeah,
beautiful. And young people need to see that it's okay to to have that or develop that relationship. And I've seen some of the young athletes come to the church and stuff like that, and I just love it. It's nice.
yeah.
It's a real nice sight to see.
And they be on me when I miss a Sunday. They texting me, Coach, where are you? I'm like, y'all, I'm out of town. I'm in the mountains right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna send you the scriptures, like, and so and it's nice to see it because
Wow.
it's we don't I don't push it on them, like
Yeah.
they pray before every game. We say the Lord's prayer before every game. It's by choice,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them are they're believers, and I love that about them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, girl. This you got a? Do you have a favorite scripture?
Yeah, so Jeremiah 29:11. The plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper, to give you hope in a future.
Yes. I mean,
And
I can already tell what it means to you, but can you just elaborate on what it means that verse means to you?
for me, it means, like, it's about trusting the Lord, like, and just knowing that, like, it that I'm put on this earth to serve the purpose that I'm here for. Like, it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than my desires and what I want to do. Like, I'm put here to to help guide somebody, help somebody figure out their life, like, help them become a better person, a better woman, help them, like, be proud of any of their insecurities, like, help them through the dark times, because all that is the stuff that I've been through.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like, it's not like there's anything that I haven't been through. I have kids that lose passion for the game, and for me, the biggest thing that I'm put to do is to help them. Okay, the moment that you stop having fun with this, you know, because I want you to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
so that's why, like, I think sometimes coming in, somebody may not understand the way that our practices are set up, because it's not a loose environment. It's very strict,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, we want our kids to have fun with the game of
Yeah.
basketball, while also working extremely hard at the same time. And I get, I get a text message from Shamir Quimby probably every week, and it's
Really?
just every week it's routine. She don't miss a week. She tell me everything that's going on in her day,
Yeah.
everything that happened in her game,
Yeah.
and it's just, for her, it's like she just, if she would do anything to be a Viking again, like, the experience
Wow.
was
That's
just
man, that's
like,
beautiful.
and she, she said it. It's that, like, and I tell my players all the time, college is incredible. The experience is incredible, but there's nothing like the relationships you make in high school,
Mm-hmm.
because it's something about the loyalty of it. You
Yeah.
with these girls for 4 years of your life. Shamir plays at Miami-Dade. It's a JUCO school, so half of her teammates she won't have next year.
Yeah.
So any of those bonds that you made in that first year, a lot of those kids move on. So
Mm-hmm.
now they become your friends from a distance. And
Yeah.
then, so just that bond and that sisterhood that you have in your high school career, like going to war with your sisters every single day,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's just, it means everything.
Yeah. And on that, it's like that just lets you know that you got to take it serious and enjoy the time that you have, because it goes by so quick and
So
you can't
fast.
get it back. High school was a great time for me, and I always think about it. I really do, and
I,
it's crazy like thinking back to those days, but that was a very good time for me, just basketball wise and high school wise. I had a lot of great schoolmates and stuff like that, but it goes by quick, and that's why I really do want kids to see that you think you got next year, and then next year's here and it's over, and then you got to go figure out life, and y'all want to grow up so fast, but y'all don't want to be no adult for
No.
real. You really
And, and
don't.
and senior year is the most stressful for them
Yeah.
because it's for some of them that want to go play next level. Like when it's not happening the way you think it's supposed to happen,
Yes.
that's the most frustrating part of being an athlete.
Yes.
And I think sometimes the levels of recruiting is like unrealistic,
Mm-hmm.
because like in this generation, you have kids that if you tell a kid right now that you played college basketball or college football, the first thing they want to know is, did you go Division 1?
Yep.
Like that's all
That's
that they
it.
care about. And so if you didn't, then you're nobody, or you weren't
Yeah.
good, or you weren't a stud. And the reality is any level of college athletics is your stud.
Yes.
If you make it, it's only a small percentage. Given at a typical high school, you're probably only going to have about 12 kids that's going to be signing scholarships in the senior
Mm-hmm.
class.
Mm-hmm.
Like these, it's not like we put on these signing days and there's 1,000 kids that set a signing.
Right.
There's 12. Sometimes there's 6. Sometimes there's
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
And so like I that's the biggest thing for me is like telling my with my kids is if you Division 1 is the goal, then you got to get in the weight room every day. If
Every
Division 1 is
day.
the goal, then you got to get up 500 shots 4 days a week. If Division
Uh-huh.
1 is the goal, you got to get out there and condition on your own, that no one else can do it for you. No one else can motivate you to do it, because that's what separates Division 1 from all the other levels.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and sometimes like, and that's the biggest thing. Like I've had some of the best kids that I've ever seen, and they're playing JUCO basketball, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
And kids need to know that is okay, because
That's it.
that is where you develop your work ethic. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
develop to get to Division 1 levels.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like that standard has just kind of been like, if you're not Division 1, then you're not good
And you
enough. Or
trash.
yeah,
Yeah.
or and even sometimes parents, you have to let them,
I was about to
because
say it.
it's important that these kids are going to school is the end goal.
Yes. Getting
Getting
that
a free
degree is the end
education is the
goal.
end goal. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is like it's a challenge.
Yeah.
But we've had great parents that pretty much they listen to us because they know that you've been there. You probably know a little bit about what you're talking about. So it's been nice.
That's good. That's good. All right, we're gonna have a little break. We got a couple more questions, but we're gonna have a game real quick. This or that,
Okay.
okay? So I'm gonna ask
Okay.
you just some random things, and you say this, that, or if you're lame, you can say both. But I know sometimes,
Okay.
like when I say, you might say both. That's fine. All right.
Okay.
So French fries or tater tots?
French fries,
Fruit punch or lemonade?
lemonade,
From where? What's your favorite?
Chick-fil-A.
I'm about to say yes. Rap or R&B?
Rap. I like Future.
Okay, okay. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Mani or petty?
Hmm.
Or both?
Pedicure.
Okay.
Pedicure.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Since you said you went to the mountains, or like a tropical beach?
A tropical beach for sure. The mountains took a lot of lower body strength. My legs was burning so bad.
um, Buttercream icing or whipped icing?
I think my mom never used to buy whipped.
No, yeah, buttercream
And
all day. Whataburger, Tops, or Five Guys?
Tops for sure.
Okay, I got this place out here. Well, it's not from here, but this chain called Relish. They compete with Tops now.
Relish?
Yeah. You
They
had
put
it?
relish on the burgers?
No. It's the burger restaurant is called Relish.
Oh, okay. Because I'm
So
like,
I'm
ew.
saying like they burgers competing with Tops Burgers. I
Oh,
can't
okay,
lie.
okay.
Yeah. So if y'all ever get one, let me know. Um, board games or card games?
Card games, spades, for sure.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
You be
Yup.
mints or gum?
Gone.
All right, Joker or Embiid?
What? Oh,
Oh, Joker or Embiid? NBA.
Embiid,
Okay. Who's your favorite team? You got one?
Celtics.
Who's your favorite player?
Well, Rajon Rondo, my favorite player of all time.
You old long arm self. Okay, Rondo. Scratch his knees. Okay. All right. So, what are your hobbies? Like, what you like to do outside of when you're all in coach and teacher mode?
um, okay, it's probably weird, but I like me and John, like we like doing like little gardening stuff. Like
Okay.
it's
You got the
she
green
has this,
thumb.
we ain't very good at it, but we enjoy doing it. Like I mean, I'll like cut the grass and stuff too. Like I think I get it from my mom. Like my brothers hate when my mom doing yard work. They say like my brother walk by and be like, she looks so stupid out there doing yard work. Like you supposed to let them do it, but I think we just enjoy it. Like I'll be cutting the grass or
Yeah.
like watering plants and stuff. Like that's like one of my
Okay.
hobbies.
That's not weird. I mean, I have never tried
Taylor
it.
be calling me weird.
It's serenity. It's like your calmness. Like it's like
Yeah.
what else you like to do?
We like to go shopping. Like when we have free time, I tell her if
Yeah.
she have a good week at daycare, she gets to go shopping every week. So
Oh,
she
so
like
she
five
good.
five and below is her store.
Okay.
Oh my,
How old is she now?
she's 2.
Oh
That's it.
wow. Wow. Okay, we're gonna get to her. But what do you think about social media? Like you think it's a pro for the kids? I mean, in regarding like their highlight videos, all that stuff, getting it out there. Like what do you think about it?
Um, I think it's made it a lot easier for kids to get recruited a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had kids that I've noticed. Like I don't know if it's maybe just like the discipline part of it, but like my kids that come in that are very very talented, they're not very active on social media. And I don't know if it's
Mm.
because they like just the staying off of it so they could stay dedicated to the game, or staying off of social media so that they in the gym, or whatever. But like I noticed, like with Sam wasn't ever on social media. She stayed in the gym, she stayed working on her game, whether it was basketball or softball, but she wasn't active on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into her senior year, I talked to her parents about like her just needing to be more involved on social media, just being able to push out her platform. Then she ended up getting put on to the Alabama Southern Stars team, which is like it's like a Nike elite team
Mm-hmm.
out of like Birmingham, I think, or something. Um, and they stress the same thing, that social media is so important. Like, you need to put
Wow.
in your bio what team, what travel ball team you play for, post your clips, post whatever invitationals you were at, because through the recruiting process, like as a coach, like those are some of the first questions that coaches ask you. Like when I send clips of kids, they want to know what travel ball team they play for. They want to know, what invitationals are they going to be at this summer. Like where are they going to play? Like, do you have any like let's see the social media pages. And I know back when we were being recruited, those pages were being watched to see like what kind of kid that the person was. So
I don't
I
even
don't
think
know
we
if
had
it's
it though. We didn't have
you did
no. I think we were still on MySpace, girl. Maybe
it.
Facebook was a thing. I don't know.
I know that when I was like back when in 2014, like because I remember Coach Mack sitting me down and kind of just, being like, make sure that your social medias are clean and, just cleaning it up because programs are recruiting kids. They want to recruit good kids. They don't want to, bring you in and you're going to be able to spend, have you for a full season and stuff. So I like the idea of social media. I think it makes it so much easier. Like, I can send the @ name and all the coaches are on social media.
Yeah.
All the, and you you do a simple follow and the coach, I can see that you're interested. Whether, obviously they have thousands of followers, but still it's just a lot easier.
Yeah. I can feel that. What do you have to say to the kids about getting in those books, like keeping that the number one thing? And that's like the main thing that you want them to lock in on.
Right. So, I mean, it's just like, just preaching it to them that like when at some point the basketball is going to stop bouncing. Like, and that's the biggest thing. And, I just was out in, a couple weeks ago out in the mountains and King Spence was there. He played professional football and like we were just kind of, just chopping it up, just having a, an athletic exchange kind of talk. And
you better slide that in there. You didn't even know you said it.
I didn't even know I didn't even realize that. But he was like, and we were asking him like, how did he know it was time to, hang up the cleats? And he kind of was like, like at my age, and I think Akeem went to school with you, right? Like Akeem Spence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's probably about 33, 32, maybe.
No, he's younger than me. He didn't go. Yeah, he's younger than me.
Okay, so he's probably about 32, maybe 31. Yeah. And he was kind of like, nowadays we're considered old in the league. Like these boys is coming in at 22, 23 into the league, and like, I'm 32 or whatever, and I'm considered old. Like he was like, I've been taking these hits since I was 7, 8 years old. So
yeah,
at some point, your body say it's time. And so like just kind of trying to get these girls to be realistic that at some point the ball is going to stop bouncing. And when the ball stop bouncing, then what do you have for yourself? Mm-hmm. Because, basketball, unless you make it to the pros, yeah. And even the pros, it's underpaid, and and they have to go and play other places just to make a comfortable living. Mm-hmm. But education is never going that you'll never lose that. Like your alma mater will never change. Yeah. So being able to take your education and do something outside of it, it just gives you another route. Like and just trying to teach them to leave as many roads open as you can.
Okay. We're almost done. So, what would your coaches, or how would your coaches describe you as a player? And then we're going to say, how would your players describe you as a coach now that you're coaching? Because they're different lenses, right?
Right.
So, yeah. Who was Mercedes as a player?
I was more of a, like, basketball wise, I was more of a slasher. Like, I want to get to the rack. I'm gonna rebound the basketball. I'm gonna do the dirty plays. Like defensively, I'm gonna lock up. They'll probably say I was bullheaded. Like I was very, I was very strong-minded in like opinions and, just like, no, this ain't it. Like, or, just. And
that's what you're saying to your coaches? Like, this ain't it?
Yeah, like, yeah, and to a certain extent, and like, and that's where I say, like, they really like had to show me like I'm the one running the program, right. Like because I was like, thinking that I knew it all. I thought I was a know-it-all, like until you start seeing that other competition out there, like, yeah. And so. Just I was, as a basketball player, just aggressive. Like, and I think that my aggressiveness is what made me, special, because most kids don't like the contact. Mm-hmm. And so like even, and that's kind of like what I use to like gain a little respect from my players now is that like, sometimes you got to show them that you'll get out there with them. Yeah. And it's the same for y'all. Like, when y'all walk in the gym, they respect you because they know that you'll get out there and play with them. Like,
Yeah.
and not only will you play with them, you're going to physical play with them. And so you're going to show them like, little girl, don't play with me at the same time. So I think my players would say, my players would describe me as like very like stand on business type.
Okay.
Because like outside of the court and outside of practice time, it's jokey and it's a friendly environment. But the moment they walk into practice, like they're held to those standards. Like if you're not on the circle and stretching, 1:15 is on the clock and we finna run a 17. And it's like those kind of things are what kind of drive them into being disciplined. Like that, so they've got a lot of discipline, but they got a lot of discipline because like from all our coaches, from me to Coach Lawrence to Coach Tony to Taylor, Coach Mack, like any of those opinions, any of those kids, they're gonna listen to any opinions of those coaches, and they know that whatever they say, it has the same value as what I say.
Yeah.
And if you throw your hand off at a coach or you choose not to do what a coach is telling you, like there's consequences to it. And kind of like setting that standard. So like they know that everything is about business once you in between those lines.
Coach Mercedes don't play, she said. Future Vikings, she don't play. Did you talk did you talk mess when you was playing?
Yeah, I think like that's the fun part of basketball. Like,
Yeah.
when you and my kids do it now, and like sometimes I'm like proud of them. Like, I like like
Yeah.
they'll go, they'll lay the ball up or get an and one or something. They'll like put their hand down, like you little whatever. And but I like when the teams give it right back to them.
Yeah.
Like there was a segment where like we played pace, and like the point guard there, she's phenomenal. Like I think she's committed to Itawamba in Mississippi. But she came down and like she hit a big three and she like threw her hand up, and then we come down and like Saron gives her one, and like our team is like throwing threes up at her, and it's like that segment of basketball is like, then at some point one coach is gonna call a timeout depending on who's getting the best of who.
Yeah.
And then just having that team like kind of like do all that yelling, and it's like it's what like promotes the game of basketball. Like that's why I love Angel Reese so much, because Angel Reese gonna talk her talk, like and that's what really brings the crowd about in basketball.
No comment. Okay.
You don't like Angel Reese?
I'm not saying I don't like her. I'll just leave it at that.
You gotta tell me.
We're gonna talk offline.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. Okay. So speaking of that, how do you feel about you watch college basketball and everything, and the girls' game has grown a lot, and there's some spectacular young talent coming through the pipeline for girls basketball, and like just seeing the amount of people that come out to support it. How does that make you feel that you're involved in that, whether it be high school or college? It's still a big deal, like, and they support the girls around Fort Walton. So how does that make you feel?
Like it's a good feeling because it's what the kids deserve. Like they work so hard. They work hard in the off season. They work hard all during the season. So, and just being able to see people show up for them is what, like, that's what kids play for.
Yeah.
They play for their families and they play for their friends. They want people showing up. And I sent Jade a text after, and I just told her like, what they did, like as far as just like filling the stands, like that means a lot for high school basketball, regardless of what.
Big.
Right, and it's like that. Like sometimes I look at the network, and I'm like taking a peek at them versus Pine Forest, and during the regular season, there's people standing on the walls, like Pensacola people. They show up.
They showing
like
up.
You said, like even in Fort Walton, like I'm looking, and our stands are more filled than they've ever been. Like people are showing up, and they're showing up for the kids. Like and they come and they support, even when teams are not playing, they're showing up. Like there was games where we had some Choctaw players in the stands, and they were cheering for us, and like it's just kids showing up and supporting each other.
Yeah. Of course it's gonna be a rivalry, but it could be rivalry. I cannot say that word rivalry, but it could be a healthy rivalry as well. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But last couple of questions. So what do you have since you played college ball and everything and get to that, you had to get through adversity with your knees and everything, but do you feel like it takes to get to that level? Like, what do you think the kids need to devote their time to get to that level,
Of college
mentally and
basketball.
physically? Yeah, it could be any sport, just in general to get to the next
Okay.
level.
Um, definitely, like it takes a big level of maturity. Just because, like, you know, you play the game of basketball in high school, and it is fun. It's fun, and your teammates. You got these bonds and these relationships. You have these relationships with your coaches, and then you move on to college, and for coaches, it's all about wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't about, kids enjoying the game of basketball. It ain't about, some of the things that you were able to enjoy in high school. Like if you're not producing, you go home. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, just being mentally, like, if your mental toughness isn't there, like, you will go into a very, very dark place.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, I struggled a little bit when I first went off to Florida Southern, because like I was in a starting spot, but I was struggling with being homesick. I was so far away from home. I'm 6.5 hours in Lakeland. And so, like, I was not in the gym. I was on the phone with my family all the time. Like, I'm missing home. And coach comes in the gym one day, and she's got all these stats highlighted. And I see my name and I'm highlighted, and I'm looking at my stats and what I'm producing. And she says, like, if your name's highlighted, you either you could turn it around, or you could rethink next year, because you won't be back.
Ooh.
Like,
Oh. Okay.
and for me, that was like that was the most real moment, because I never, I had never been in a position like that, to where, like, wow, like, now it's my position's on the line. Like, it's a possibility that I could get cut in my junior year and have to figure out something, because I'm not producing. And it was, for me, it was like just being mentally tough, to where it's like, I'm gonna get out of this spot, this mental place. Like, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna work on my game. And for kids, like, in high school, they're not, they got to be mentally tough. Like, when your coach getting on you, how do you respond?
Yeah.
When coach don't see it, like, when you're not performing well, how will you respond? Like, what are you going to do to make yourself play better?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna sulk? Are you gonna fall into, a dark place, or are you gonna get in the gym and fix it? Like,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, just staying on top of their film. Like, you it's only so much a coach can do.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play plenty of basketball. You gotta play plenty of any sport that you're in. You gotta get in the weight room. All of those things are key things, just to go into the college level. You gotta train year round. There's no off season on any sport, especially if, even if you play other sports, you still gotta dedicate time to playing, to working on every sport that you play, if you want to be good at everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm gonna be a basketball player, but I'm also gonna play flag football, I gotta put in a little into both.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna prioritize what's more important, and I'm gonna really work towards that, while also giving a little here and there. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I say mental toughness, weight training, and, just working on their own film.
Yeah. College is definitely a business. It's cutthroat, and
It's a business.
especially
Yeah.
you're going against people in the portal. There's so
Yeah.
many factors now that if you're not on your game, you're gonna get left behind. And a lot of kids think that they're ready. They get there, and they still wind up quitting.
Yeah, and I talk to, like, I have a lot of connections with, some of these college coaches, just from playing college basketball, and they're very honest. And the honesty is, they said, you know in order for us to recruit a senior out of high school, you've got to be that. You've got to be a
Mm-hmm.
stud,
Mm-hmm.
because I'd rather go get a kid that has a year of college experience. Like,
I believe it.
they know what it's like. They know what it's like.
Yeah.
So it's been extremely hard for these seniors,
Yeah.
especially with the portal, because it makes it hard for you to sell these kids, because
Mm-hmm.
they're saying, what makes this kid so special that they can come in my program and make a difference.
Exactly.
these kids in the portal have been through a college program. I know their
Mm.
work ethic. They know the work ethic. They know what's required of them. And some of them, they played against them, so they know their talent. So it's so much harder on these high school seniors.
Yeah. Okay. Two more things. As a Viking alumni, one of the things that you tap on the way through the door is that WIT.
Mm-hmm.
That's been there for forever, and it's a special saying. Whatever it takes, and speak on that a little bit. Like how do you introduce that to your kids first of all, and what does that even mean to you?
Um, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with how I introduce it to them, and like what it means to me is that like they know that that's something that I was a part of. And
Mm-hmm.
so every day that you come by and I hit that sign, even my daughter hits that sign. Like she won't walk out of
Mm.
the gym without me lifting her up to hit that sign. And it just
Mm-hmm.
means that like when I come through here every single day, I'll run through the wall.
Yeah.
Like, when it gets hard, when I've ran a couple of lines and coach says step back on the line, I'm still gonna give everything I got on this next one. Like not I'm feeling sorry for myself or I'm tired or I'm gonna be selfish. Like it's putting the team first. Like whatever individuals are to the left or the right of me, I'm gonna go to war with them, and I'm gonna do
Yeah.
whatever it takes to, no matter what it is. Like not even just saying winning, but just improving. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever it takes for me to improve as my individual goals, as the team goals. Like it's about going through the wall, and they know that. If you don't run through the wall, if you're not doing whatever it takes, like you don't deserve the locker room. You don't deserve to touch the sign. You don't deserve to wear the gear. Like
Yeah.
there was one time where they had to wear regular clothes to practice because y'all aren't play. This ain't Viking basketball. This whatever y'all want basketball. So
Yeah.
until we
Yeah.
start playing Viking basketball, like um, but they pretty much know that like if I touch this sign, this means I'm ready to go to war.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have a favorite quote or saying that stuck with you today?
Let me think. Um, I think, well, like my favorite quote or saying like of all time is just like when people say don't count the days, make the days count. So that just
Mm-hmm.
like that's just like all around, like with anything, like like at the end of the season, like we tell our kids that like other sports are starting up. Like, don't check out on us. Give us everything we got to the end. Like, those sports are gonna be there. You're not missing much. You're gonna be with your other sports. Like, because some people play basketball as a secondary sport, and basketball does it cuts into other seasons. Like, and just not even aside for that, it's like it goes hand in hand with us as coaches too. Like we got to give our all to these kids. Like if we expect them to give everything they got, we got to also, come in prepared and be ready to give them everything we got, while also accepting constructive criticism. Like we allow our kids to tell us like give us opinions. We may not accept, like
Yeah.
you may not be right, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
listen, or I'm not gonna tell you that
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
but I'm gonna listen to what you have to say, and then we kind of self-evaluate ourselves, and okay, well, we got to hold them to this standard, and this has got to be the rule for everyone going forward, and it's a part of balance.
I like that. I like that a lot because there are things that the players might be playing on the court and they might see that you might not be seeing because they're in it.
Right.
So I like that a lot. Okay, I said it was two, but this is the last one for real. So you have a daughter now, and I'm sure she soaks up everything that you do. So what is the legacy, or what is it that you want her to know that her mother demonstrates or displays and also what does she mean to you? We'll end on that. Don't cry.
She No, no. Like my daughter means everything to me. Like, just every moment that I spend with her, like I cherish it. Like she has so many good like personalities about herself. Like she's so smart for her age. She could hold a full conversation right now. Like and just being able to see her grow, like it just make me so happy. And then like just like for her, like just in the future, like I just want to like just stress to her like happiness. Like whatever you do, I want you to be happy doing it. Like
Mhm.
most people put stipulations on kids like, is she gonna play basketball? Is she gonna do this? Like what sport she gonna play? I know that you're gonna push her hard. I know she's gonna, but for me, like I want her to be happy at what she doing. Like if she says, Mom, I want to play the flute. Well, I want you to be the best flute player you could be. Like
Right.
and I probably ain't gonna be enjoying being on the sideline, but I'm gonna clap anyway. I'm gonna clap anyways because
Right.
like at the end of the day, like, I don't I feel like as a kid, all you want is for your parents to love you no matter what. Like,
Mm.
and just and being a basketball player don't determine our relationship. Like being a basketball, I love basketball, but I love my daughter more.
Mm.
And it's interesting because some people you think, you say like there's nothing I love in the world more than this, but your kids, your parents love your kids more than anything in the world. There's nothing, no love that's greater than your love for your child, or your mom or your family. Like that means everything. And so if that means, her doing whatever makes her happy, that's all I want for her, like, and for her life.
Yes. I love that. That's sweet. That's really sweet. And you can speak on that now that you have a daughter. Like you really feel that genuine agape love that that you would do
Yes.
anything for her. Okay, oh sorry. This was the last one for real, for real. I know I got one more. I'm sorry. Cause things just be going in my head. You said that you were, you don't be liking to put timelines, but I'm just gonna ask, do you want to coach in college? Do you like, not saying like how many years it's gonna take to get there or whenever you do it, but is that a thing that you want to do?
So I haven't decided, right?
Okay.
Every year, when I first took on the leadership position for the basketball program, I had a timeline for myself. I said, I'll probably be here 3 years. That's what I said. And then 3 years come along, and you make relationships with the new group of kids, and they get under you, and you really attach to them. And then
Yeah.
3 years turn into 3 more years.
Yeah.
Then another
Yeah.
group comes along, and you're like, there's no way I'm leaving this group. So then 3 more years
Right.
come. And what I will say is right now, I'm in school right now. I'm getting a master's degree. So I guess
Okay.
I'm just gonna see where the future leads me. And so I don't know as far as timeline. I said that I wanted to go to the next level, but I just keep getting sucked back, and I think my influence and my impact and just like is greater on the high school level. Like I can reach these
Yeah.
kids, and it's
Yeah.
more personal. It's
Mm-hmm.
more of a personal experience than I enjoy being able to coach kids rather than me having to go to sleep every night and my paycheck depends on how many I win and how many I lose.
Wow.
So I haven't thought that far into that because that's a whole different ball game, and that makes you like right now I still love the game of basketball. And when you
Yeah.
get to that level, I've seen coaches, stray away from the love of the game because they worried about how
The
they're gonna eat.
pressure. The pressure. You might be here for 2 years and you gotta, okay, you over here in Florida, then you gotta go to
Yeah.
Georgia. Then you might have to go to the
Yeah, I know.
it's the stability is hard if you're not a Don Staley or somebody that's winning games. It's really hard. So
Right.
it is. I can understand that a lot. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
want to thank you for being so vulnerable, opening up. You say you don't like public speaking. I don't either. Like I can't talk with the crap. People that know me know that I stumble over my words so much. I talk fast, all that. But I just want to thank you for taking the time out. We're almost at an hour and a half, and you're just chopping it up. And I want
I
to
know.
commend you on the things that you're doing for the young women out there. The amount of years that you've been the head coach, even as an assistant coach, just giving your time. It's a lot of baggage that you can't just do your job and go home. You have to deal with a lot, and people don't really understand that. So I commend you for being able to balance everything that you have going on. Being a Viking player and now you're a Viking coach, like alumni. I appreciate you taking your time to come talk with me on the athletic exchange.
It was
Um,
fun.
and I wish you nothing but success. And I'll be talking to you, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
So
you.
until next time, we'll get on again. But yeah, good luck with everything, with your masters and with teaching. I know these kids can be a headache, but you are making an impact, and just continue what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All
And
right.
you gotta tell me about the
Oh
situation.
yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you. I'm gonna
All
send you a
right.
voicemail right when I'm done.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. I always forget. I always end with love your neighbor as yourself. So that means don't forget to love you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.